Hello everybody, welcome to this lesson. We were talking about StartApp and the home page and how to display a banner inside the home page, and uh, what is the relationship between the disable ads and enable ads in edit mode. We see the reflection of changing these values. If you just scroll a little bit down, we have another method called show in-game ads. So we use this method in order to display the interstitials ads inside the game. So you have to understand how this mechanism, how this method is working. This method is used, as I said, to display interstitial ads inside the game. So once you play the game, you win, for example, a level, you win 2 levels, or you just want to display an ads, or you just want to display ads randomly. You have to call this method. So inside this method, we are using this method in the Mindizor project. We compare this method with the player preferences. So if the player preferences has the key of no ads, and if the store inventory get item for the no ads bigger than 1, we have to and if the no ads balance here in the player preference is bigger than 1, we have to disable the main ads here. Disable the main ads. So we check after that if this main ads controller is disabled. Alright, so we can't display ads. So here just we check every time we call this method. So we're not gonna execute the rest of the code here if this is false. So if we continue here, if game handler, we have something called here game ad control. If it's false, we have other thing here called ads counter. So why we have this ads counter? We use the ads counter in order to define the criteria. So if you go here inside this method here, we have something called display ads every n times. So this flag is used in order to define a criteria. So here we're just gonna display an ad every 2 times I win the criteria that I have. So let's say the criteria that we got, every 2 times you win a level, or you finish a level, or you lose a level. We're just gonna display the ad every 2 times. So here you have to define the number of time you need to display the ads. So here these numbers are used with the criteria. But where do we set this criteria? So we have to define this number, how many times you want to show the ads everywhere. So we have to type this, and also after that we use this inside the show here inside this show in-game ads. We use this display ads in count in order to limit the showing of the ads. So, but where do we set this value? Where do we give this value for the criteria? And why do we use the ads counter here? Basically because we need to call this function. So let me just give you an example here how this works. Let's go to the game handler here, and game handler is used inside the game. So if you go here, for example, here in game store or in game, we have a button here, and this button is just gonna upgrade, for example, to, let's go to this first one here. So the first button here, the first one. So this button we're just gonna call something called game handler.win coins. So this win coins is here inside the game handler. So we have an object called here, game handler, inside the game. So if you open the game handler and you go to the method called here win coins, so we're just gonna play the audio source as we saw before, and here we're just gonna give items. Also, the criteria, we didn't assign it to the win coins, we assigned it to win level. So if you go here to the win level, here we have, here, increase level. So if you go to the increase level here, we have a function associated with this called win level. So if you scroll a little bit down, we have something called here win level. So inside win level, we call a method called display ads criteria. All right, so we display the ad criteria, and this method inside the game handler, we used it in order to display the ads criteria in order to just trigger the criteria. So we want to show ads every 2 times, so we just call this method. And inside this method, where we define the criteria, when we have n, which is the number of times we want to display the ads, every method. For example, let me just be easy with this. If I go to the display ads criteria and I want to say I want to display ads every 4 times or every 2 times, so we're just gonna call this method 2 times. So if I go here and click play and win 2 levels, I'm just gonna call this method 2 times. So that this means the counter here, the game handler counter, is just gonna be for example gonna be 2. So that's why when you go to here inside the display ads criteria, we're just gonna come here. All right, we're just gonna call the method inside the show in-game ads. So inside show in-game ads, if you go there inside show in-game ads here inside StartApp, we have something called show or main ads controller. Yeah, here. So you can see here, we just do the following. We check if the game handler is bigger or equal to main control the display ads every n times. We just check this. If that is true, so that means we just got number 2, for example. So we need to come here and just execute the following script. We need to, for example, to show the ad for the user, the interstitials ads. So as you can see here, in order to show the interstitials ads, if the enable ads in the edit mode is enabled, we need to show the ads. So in order to show the ads, we have to load the ad, show ad, and load the ad. So what this means, basically, we load the current ad, then we need to show the ad. We need to load the next ad. So when we do this, we load the ad, we show it, and we load the next ad. So once we go next time, we need to load the ad and then show it and load the next ad. So you have to execute load ad 2 times in order to work with it properly. And why is that? Because this is the way that they implemented StartApp ads. So you have to put it in this way. Alright, after that you can go play the game and test this, as we're gonna do in the next video. Also, you can play with the criteria here. Notice here we are incrementing the ads another time. So let's say we start from 0, and after that here we're just gonna be 1. So we compare if 1 is bigger than this. No, so we're just gonna come back again. So it's 2, it's 3. So if 3 is bigger than this number, yeah, it's bigger. So we have to come here, show the ad, and after that we are set the ads counter to 0, and after that the criteria will recycle. So yeah, this is pretty much how we implement the ads using the combination of the main ads controller and the game handler, and how to just call this criteria. You can configure this criteria to put it whatever place you want. You can make it random, but I do recommend to have some way to show the ads. Not every time, at least every 2 times or something, because if you put too much ads in the game, this is gonna make your make the player of the games to be not in comfortable place. But you could do it this way. You can make for example, every 2 times I display ads, but in the 3rd time I display for him, or the 4th time I display him, you could remove these ads if you pay $1 or $2 or something like that. So you have to be smart here. So it depends on your criteria and your type and your game type, and you have many options and many implementations for this, but the easiest way is by using this criteria to display the ads every 2 or 3 times. Yeah, this is pretty much, guys, how you could work with StartApp, and how you can turn on, turn off the advertisement based on these 2 flags here. Yeah, this is pretty much, guys, all the story behind StartApp integration. It's very easy. We have to talk a little bit about the Android manifest, and we're gonna talk in the next video about this step of configuration. Thank you again for watching. See you in the next lesson.